Okay, welcome back to Miss Curtis's art class. Today I have a really fun lesson planned for you. We are going to be making a Henri Matisse inspired sunset. So we are going to be using really bright colors, which is something that Henri Matisse was known for. And this is going to be a watercolor painting. So I think that you are going to love this. You can also use other paints like tempera, and you could color this in with marker or color pencils. Today I'm going to be demonstrating for you how to use the watercolor with this. So the first thing we're going to do is draw this sunset together. And the sunset is going to have several different elements. So in the front, we are going to make some really beautiful flowers, and that is going to be in the foreground. In the middle ground, which is in the middle area of the paper, we are going to have some water and a couple waves that are coming in. And then beyond that, towards the background of our picture, we are going to have a few rolling hills, and then of course our sun, which is setting in the distance. So let's get started. Today I'm going to be using this Sharpie marker to draw my lines here. And this is recommended with the watercolor so that it doesn't smear away your pencil lines. And then after that, we are going to use the paint. So let's get started. The first thing I ask you to do is make your frame and name. So you can either make a straight line or you can make a curvy line. Today I'll make a curvy line just to switch things up. Okay, now at the bottom right of your paper, I would like you to write your first and last name and then your homeroom number. So whatever your homeroom number is, that's what you are going to write. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is make some flowers in the foreground or the front area of our picture. So I am going to be making some flowers that look like sunflowers. If you have an idea for an interesting flower, you can definitely try that. I will show you what these will look like. Some of these are going to be coming up off of the page, so you'll only see half of the flower, and this creates some interest. So sometimes if you have objects that are going outside the picture frame, it allows us to visually kind of make up for that area and imagine where that would be. So it's kind of, again, it draws more interest. So I'm going to start by making a sunflower in the bottom left corner, and I am just going to simply do a half circle or an arch like a rainbow coming up. I am then going to make some petals coming off of this flower, and these are going to look like the letter M, or just kind of like these little curves. I'm going to continue this design through the foreground, and some of the flowers I'm going to have them appear the whole flower, and then other ones just a little bit poking through. So this next one I will draw almost the whole flower, and then maybe I'll switch the petals up to be more about like these little pointy, almost like the tops of triangles. And this looks like a zigzag line. Okay? And now the next flower, I'll have it be a little bit lower. And this one I am going to make curvy or rounded. Okay, and then one more. And you can make some of the petals longer, shorter, and you can vary that as you go, okay? So the next thing I'm going to do is add some texture to the inside of the flower. So some of these I'm going to do crisscrossing lines. While others, I may simply just do a dot design. and I'm adding some texture to the flower. Okay, and then if you'd like, in some of your petals, you can even do a little line if you want. I'll just do it on a couple of these. Okay, so now I have my flowers in the foreground. I'm going to begin working on the waves, which are in the middle area of the paper or the middle ground. And I am going to start with a couple waves over here to the side and then some simple lines to show that there is some ripples in the water. Okay, so I'm going to start with my first wave and I'm going to have it coming over from the side of the paper, and I'm simply just going to make a line that's going to loop around like so. I'm going to stop and then I am going to just curve it back, leaving a little bit of space in between. And I'm just gonna fix my line a little bit right there. If you need to go back around again, that's okay. And then what I'm going to do is I am going to simply make a line that comes down 2 lines like so. So you want your wave to again look complete, so I am going to make a line right here that curves down towards the flower and a second line as well. Okay, and then I am going to make one more wave come up and loop around. So right here I'm going to make a line that comes up, loops, and curves. Okay, and then for this wave I am not going to loop it back around, just the first one. I'm going to make a curvy loopy line right above this wave, and I'm just going to curve around and leave it like so. And then right here we are going to make a curving line that comes down to the flower. Okay, so there we have a few waves. And again, these are more abstract, so they're pretty fun. You're just having them curve like so. In between your waves, you're just going to curve a line, just like so, and that is going to show that there is water right there. And we can start right down here where this wave is. We're gonna just make a curvy line all the way over to show that there is some water right to the edge of the paper. I'm gonna make another one. And one more, so we've got 1, 2, 3. And the fourth one we are gonna have right where the top of that wave is. Okay, so we have some waves and some water, and that's going to be in our middle ground. Okay, now the next area in our picture is going to be our rolling hills. All right, so let's get started on those. I am going to start with one hill right here to the bottom right. And I'm just going to curve up like a rainbow. Okay, and now let's make our second hill, and this one is going to come right where that wave is. I'm just going to make a curved line. It's going to come up and roll right over that hill. And then on the left-hand side, we are going to make another hill, and you can simply have this one curve and come down towards this hill. We're almost done. They are going to get smaller as we go into the background. My marker's bleeding a little bit here. So I'll just fix this a little bit. And I am going to have a smaller hill right here. And one more hill right before we do the sun. Okay? So now the last step here is to make our sun. So I am going to make a rounded arching line right here, and it's going to go up right in the middle. So it might be nice to have your sun right in the middle. Okay, And we are going to have straight lines that are going to come off from the sun. So I am going to just start making lines that come out like sun ray. Right to the edge of the frame. And we are going to use a radial design for this. So that means everything is coming right off of this center point, which is our sun. Okay, so go ahead and make as many lines right there as you feel you need. And inside of some of these, just a couple of them, I might make a few different designs. So maybe here I want to put some circles going through this sun ray. And then maybe this one, I want to do some zigzag. That might be kind of neat. And I think I will stop there. I think for this hill though, I will put some texture and just do some dots. And this is, again, I'm just adding to the design some unique elements. This is an abstracted sunset here. So we're using different lines in different shapes. And we are going to add different colors because they are going to be bright, just like Henri Matisse's art. He loved using lots of different colors. Okay. And I think in this hill right here, I'll even add some more curving lines within. This is optional. If you don't have to do this if you don't want to. Just think it's kind of fun. And then as you go, if you need to fix your lines, you can do that. And I'll just use the marker and go over areas that I think I made a mistake. Whoops, like right there. Okay. All right, so that looks pretty good to me. I am excited to get started with the paint, so I'm going to close up my marker here and let's add some color. So we are going to be using the watercolor paints. What you're going to need is a brush, and I brought a little tiny brush. This one's for more of the details, and then I have a wider brush right here. You'll need a little cup of water so that you can rinse your brush in between, and a paper towel to dab on. Remember, you need to add 3 drops of water by just taking your paintbrush in the water and bringing it over to the color, and then you are good to go. What I like about watercolor is you can always layer colors on top of what you're working with. So if I use some blue, maybe I want to rinse my brush, wipe it off, and use just a tiny bit of purple and layer some purple through the blue to make it like a purpley blue water. That's a really fun option that you can do here. So I'm going to get started and I'll show you how we are going to start this, and then I'm going to paint my way through. You can see how I painted it. If you want to change some of your colors as you work, you are more than welcome to do that. So for the bottom area, I'm going to use some warmer colors in my flowers because since they're right next to the water is going to be cooler colors. I want these to stand out, and I know that they will if I'm using warmer colors. So I added 1, 2, I'll add 3 drops of water into my red right here. And then I'm going to simply swish my brush in this paint and then wipe on the edge here. I'm going to hold my paper nice and tight, and then I'm going to use the tip of the brush to just paint in these areas. I'm going to keep going, making my way around. And the inside of this flower, I'm going to paint yellow. I love sunflowers, and I just love flowers in general. So fun every spring when they bloom. Okay, so notice I'm using the tip. I'm just spreading this paint around. I don't want to bring too much paint over because it's such a small area that I'm using to paint right now. So, okay, so there I have my red petals. If I'm going to switch my color, I am swishing in the brush. I'm taking it and really going towards the bottom of the cup, and then wiping it off nicely. When I dab on the paper towel, it comes up clear. That means I am good to go to the next color. You don't want to mess up your palette and dirty it. So this is a nice bright yellow and we want to keep it that way. All right, so I'm going to add some yellow, and notice with the permanent marker I can just paint right over it and it's not a problem. I may add a little orange on top of this yellow again just to warm it up even more. So I am going to paint this in and show you how I did this and allow you to choose your colors, and I can't wait to see how your abstract Henri Matisse sunsets come out. Okay, so that is how I painted in my Henri Matisse inspired colorful sunset here. And as you can see, as I went through, I decided to layer some different colors. So when it came to like cooler colored areas, I did a little bit of blue and then sometimes even a touch of green in my water. So you can kind of see that right in here. And then again, some purple throughout over top of the blue. But first I started with blue. And then if you use a little bit more water and you wipe your brush, you're going to get a lighter color blue. If you want it to be darker, you're going to use more of just the straight paint color. Rinse my brush really good in between, keep your yellow nice and clean looking, and then again with the hills I started with yellow and then layered just a tiny touch of green and brought it throughout so that it would kind of fade from green to yellow. And I did that in a couple spots, and again lighter with the green here, just more of like a wipe down watery green. And yeah, and that's how you get that effect. I can't wait to see how yours come out. I can't wait to see what you add, how you layer your colors. Again, a little red with orange down here, and you can have a lot of fun with watercolor.